I want to welcome to the show Dianna Bellerose. How are you, Dianna?
I'm fine, thank you. Hi.
Thank you very much for being on the show today and talking about your book, Fire and Ice.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was definitely a book that took me on an emotional ride, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope that other people will find it on Amazon and pick it up themselves.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. I hope other people are gonna love it the way you did. And I wrote it with all my heart and soul. So I hope this is going to help a lot of women in the relationship. And it's going about their relationship. And if there is something going wrong, probably they will find the answer.
Yeah, tell the listeners a little bit about your book, Fire and Ice. And I love the cover, by the way. It was put together so well.
Thank you so much. Um, book I wrote it's about love relationship, relationship with parents and how the parents disapproval impacts love and how things can go from sweet to sour. There is a lot of information about relationship, about what is acceptable in a relationship, what is not. The main thing is the reader is going to be able to see that it's important in a relationship to set boundaries because once these boundaries are crossed, it's really hard. It's really hard to fix it, and things go wrong, and it's really hard for the life of the relationship, and it can get worse and worse.
Yeah, that is one thing I noticed between Nancy and Tom's relationship is the mother was just she wasn't very nice and she was constantly, getting in between them. And you know what is so funny is I have seen so many relationships that have, mother-in-laws that like to do that.
Yes, this is so sad because I don't see the reason. I don't see it's like a nonsense for me why this has to be done and what do you mean by don't like somebody. Once the couple love each other, it's a tragic thing to get in the middle and it's one disapproval how much damage can do.
Oh yeah, it could definitely tear families apart. Now, how did you come up with this particular concept for this book?
Uh, my book came, it was about 5 years ago, and I was having a hard time figuring out who I am, what is the purpose of my life. I was so depressed, and suddenly this voice came telling me to sit and write. It was a nagging voice. So I started writing, and I was really, really interested into the interaction between people.
And it's really interesting, Diana, because there are so many relationships that have similar circumstances. So I bet that you have really touched a lot of people's lives with this particular book. My father actually treated my mother in much the same way that Tom treated Nancy. And it's really interesting because the daughter's name was Jen in your book, and that was my mother's name, Jen.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, a lot of similarities because a lot of the abuse that took place in your book, I'm like, oh my goodness, this took place in my family. So it was like rehashing, even though I've been, I'm past it, and the pain, really isn't there for me anymore. I could really feel for Nancy and especially Jen because I was in Jen's shoes, being the daughter, you want to constantly referee and stop the pain, stop the hurt, but as a child, there's really nothing that you can do. But I really like how you portrayed Jen because she really did try to stop, or at least try to soften some of it. And after a while, she had to live her own life.
Yes, yes, and it impacts children really, really bad and in their life for the future also, and it's really sad. In their, they decide if they find somebody else, it's just not right.
Now, what else are you working on, Diana? Are you working on another novel similar or something entirely different?
I work on the second book. It's going to be called Breaking the Ice, and it's going to be done this summer. So I'm going to tell the rest of the story. There are going to be a lot of twists and turns. There's going to be more information, and I don't want to tell a lot of things.
Yes.
Yeah, the readers are going to be surprised how the things start.
Yeah, now tell everybody where Fire and Ice can be found and where you can be found on the internet.
Fire and Ice can be found on Amazon, and it's audiobook also on acx.com. And they can find me on my blogspot. I update my blogspot very often, and the address is Dianna Bellerose dash author fireandnice.blogspot.com.
Really am looking forward to your second book. I really want to see where this whole story is going to take place next.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope I can make change for the better in lives, improve the relationships, and just make people happier.
We need more books like this that will really show what not to do and then what to do in a relationship.
Yeah, it's very complicated to have a relationship with somebody, and it's very important the women to be accepted.
Thank you again, Diana.
You're
And
welcome.
do you have any last words for our listeners?
I thank you for listening the show, and I'm looking forward to buy my book and to hear what they have to say. And they can also always ask me questions on my Facebook page. It's Diana Bellerose, and I'll be happy to answer all their questions and comments. And I hope I can even make a difference in their life. It doesn't matter if they're man or woman. I'm here for that.